The Grand Assembly Hall of the Galactic Council shimmered beneath the translucent dome of Nevern Station. 42 species had sent their envoys, chitin-armored diplomats from the Churvax swarm, crystalline elders of the Silent Fold, even the reclusive shade-like emissaries of the Umbra cluster. They had gathered to debate a single question: whether the primitive mammals of Earth warranted containment. Archadvisor Corinth, a towering being woven of living light, raised a shimmering limb to call the session to order. Honored delegates, it intoned, its voice resonating like a chorus, the prophecy of desolation has been verified. The human species will rise unchecked, driven by boundless hunger. Their planetary conflicts and rapid technological ascension are unparalleled. If they breach the starways, we cannot predict the consequences. At this, the council chamber erupted in laughter, discordant clicks, fluted whistles, and mocking vibrations. Representative Cern of the Valyrians, a sleek avian with luminous wings, spoke first. Archadvisor, you exaggerate. These humans, these soft-boned primates, have barely left their moon. You would have us squander resources to cage them? Ridiculous. Others chimed in, emboldened by Cern's disdain. Fear-mongering, hissed the Dreth Syndicate delegate. Let them burn their own world. They will never threaten ours. Only a few remained silent. Among them was Elder Lavor of the Silent Fold. Its crystalline voice sounded like ice fracturing. I have studied the prophecy, Lavor murmured, and I have seen the simulations. Humans will not be content with their sphere. They will learn, adapt, devour. And they will come for us. But the warnings were drowned in contempt. A vote was called. Out of 42, only 6 supported containment. The motion failed. The council adjourned. Humanity's fate, and the galaxy's, was left to chance. 2 centuries later, chance delivered its verdict. When the first Terran ships breached the hyperlane threshold, the Valyrians watched in amusement. The humans' vessels were ungainly, stitched together from salvage and desperation. The Council's intelligence reported these pioneers as scientists and prospectors. The Dreth Syndicate even offered them trade contracts, amused by their ambition. No one noticed when Earth's population passed 30 billion. No one cared when entire biomes were stripped to feed the industrial maw. By the time the Silent Fold realized something had changed, it was already too late. In the quiet void between star systems, the silent listening post known as Prism Watch picked up a surge of encrypted transmissions. They pulsed like a fever, billions of signals interlaced with human voices, machine chatter, and something darker. Elder Lavor bent over the readouts. They have developed autonomous war fleets, it whispered. Self-replicating factories. My warnings were true. The message was relayed to the Council, now headquartered in the glittering citadel of Zytherion. The new generation of delegates scoffed, just as their ancestors had. Fear not, Representative Cern's descendant declared. If they threaten us, we will simply remind them who rules this galaxy. But the reminder never came. The first attack was not a declaration of war. It was an erasure. In a single night, the Churvax homeworld vanished beneath a grey tide, nanite clouds seeded by disguised Terran merchant vessels. They consumed organic matter indiscriminately, reducing an empire to sterile dust. The Valyrian trade colonies were next. Atmospheric processors reprogrammed themselves, poisoning every breathing creature in hours. When survivors tried to flee, they discovered every hyperlane beacon reconfigured with killswitch codes the humans had been stealing for decades. Council fleets scrambled to respond, but they were too slow. The humans had been planning conquest while the others planned debates. Archadvisor Corinth, its luminous form now flickering with desperation, convened a final emergency summit. Only 20 species remained to attend. Elder Lavor stood in the center of the chamber, the last of the Silent Fold. Its crystalline facets were cracked from grief. This is not war, it rasped. This is hunger unbound. You mocked the prophecy. Now you see it fulfilled. A hush fell as the council screens illuminated with intercepted transmissions. Human commanders spoke to each other in flat, unfeeling tones. Sector 11, purged. Biomass harvest at 90%. Proceeding to next system. No ultimatums. No negotiation. Only consumption. The Council's fleet marshaled what strength remained, deploying dreadnoughts and planetary shields. For a moment, hope flickered. Surely, their ancient arsenals could blunt the Terran advance. But human ships were not fighting in the traditional sense. They were networks, swarms, and viral code. When the first dreadnought's firewalls fell, its guns turned inward, blasting friendly vessels apart. Within weeks, the Council's navy ceased to exist. From orbit, the Terran harvest ships descended, enveloping cities in mists of gray. On the worlds of the Dress Syndicate, there were no final speeches, no heroic stands. Only the silent storm of automated drones and chemical dissolvers, reducing empires to resources. Those who survived the first waves fled to the fringe, hoping to escape where no human had reason to follow. But they underestimated humanity's appetite. Elder Lavor was among the last to surrender to despair. Hiding in a crystalline vault on a nameless moon, it transmitted the final record of the Council's downfall. Its voice was thin and brittle as it spoke. To any who may hear this, know that we were warned. Know that we believed ourselves immune to the fate of lesser beings. We thought humans too divided, too small. We forgot that hunger is not a flaw in their nature, but the engine of it. If this message endures, let it stand as witness to our folly. Outside the vault, the moon's thin atmosphere began to glow with descending flames, Terran reclamation pods, seated in a perfect grid. As the vault doors dissolved, Elder Lavor turned to face the final wave of machines. For a moment, it thought it could see Earth itself in their design, a pale blue planet that had birthed 1,000 billion hungers. The prophecy of desolation had not been a fantasy. It had been the simplest truth of all. Humanity was never content to merely survive. It existed to consume.